The old mansion on Creek Road had always been a place of whispers and shadows. The wealthy Devereux family, with their polished manners and pristine reputation, had lived there for generations. But beneath the veneer of wealth and sophistication lay a dark secret, one that had been buried in the depths of the basement for decades. It all began when the youngest daughter, 16-year-old Elara, discovered her grandmother's chest in the dusty, cobwebbed corner of the basement. The chest was ancient, its wood warped and its iron hinges rusted. Inside, she found a rusted metallic stick, cold to the touch, and a leather-bound diary with a scorpion embossed on its cover. The air around the chest seemed to hum with an unnatural energy, but Elara, curious and reckless, ignored the warning signs. She smuggled the items up to her bedroom, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. That night, she called her best friend Maya for a sleepover. The two girls sat cross-legged on Elara's bed, the diary between them. The pages were filled with strange symbols, incantations, and sketches of grotesque creatures. As they flipped through the pages, they realized that Elara's grandmother, Isabella, had been a practitioner of black magic, a descendant of the Huichols, a tribe infamous for their dark rituals and ability to summon and control demons. Isabella had captured several demons during her youth, binding them to her will. But when she married into the Devereux family, she abandoned her dark practices, locking her secrets away in the chest. The rusted stick, they discovered, was a ritual dagger used to seal the demon's prison. Elara, fascinated and emboldened by the discovery, decided to read one of the spells aloud. Maya hesitated, her instincts screaming that this was a terrible idea. But Elara's curiosity was insatiable. As she began to chant, the room grew colder, and the air thickened with a suffocating pressure. The words spilled from her lips in a hurried, almost frantic manner, and Maya, panicking, slammed the book shut. "Stop it, Elara, this is insane," Maya shouted, her voice trembling. Elara laughed it off, but the damage had already been done. That night, as the girls slept, the house began to change. The walls seemed to breathe, the shadows twisted and writhed, and faint whispers echoed through the halls. Elara awoke to the sound of scratching at her door. She opened it to find nothing there, but the metallic stick, now gleaming as if new, lay at her feet. The next morning, Maya left, shaken and pale, refusing to speak of what had happened. Elara, however, felt a strange pull toward the dagger and the diary. She began to hear voices, soft and seductive, urging her to continue where she had left off. The demons, once bound by Isabella's magic, had found a new vessel in Elara. The possession was gradual but relentless. Elara's once bright eyes grew hollow, her laughter turned manic, and her behavior became increasingly erratic. Her younger brother, 10-year-old Liam, was the first to notice. He would find her standing in the hallway at night, staring at him with a vacant expression, the dagger clutched tightly in her hand. One evening, the family gathered for dinner. Elara was unusually quiet, her gaze fixed on Liam. As the meal progressed, she suddenly stood, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. Before anyone could react, she lunged at Liam, the dagger plunging into his chest. Blood sprayed across the table as the family screamed in horror. Elara's father, Charles, managed to wrestle the dagger from her, but the damage was done. Liam lay lifeless, his wide eyes staring into nothingness. The house descended into chaos. Elara was locked in her room, but the demons had taken full control. The walls seemed to bleed, the air was thick with the stench of sulfur, and the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Charles, desperate for help, called Father O'Connell, the local priest. When Father O'Connell arrived, he found the house in a state of utter despair. Alara's mother, Evelyn, was catatonic, and Charles was barely holding himself together. The priest performed a blessing, but as he reached Alara's room, the door flew open, and she emerged, her eyes black as coal. She attacked him with a ferocity that belied her slender frame, her fingers clawing at his throat. Charles intervened, pulling her away, but not before she had inflicted deep wounds. Realizing that the house itself was cursed, Charles made the decision to leave. They packed what little they could and fled in the dead of night, abandoning the mansion on Creek Road. As they drove away, they could see the silhouette of Alara standing in the window, her face twisted into a grotesque smile, the dagger glinting in her hand. The house still stands, empty and decaying, but those who pass by swear they can hear whispers on the wind and see shadows moving behind the broken windows. Some say Alara still roams the halls, her soul forever bound to the demons she unleashed. Others claim that the Huichol's curse lingers, waiting for the next foolish soul to awaken the darkness. As for the Devereux family, they never spoke of that night again. But Charles would often wake in a cold sweat, the image of his daughter's black eyes haunting his dreams. And every year, on the anniversary of Liam's death, a single black scorpion would appear on their doorstep, a grim reminder of the horrors they had left behind. To this day, no one dares to enter the mansion on Creek Road. Those who have tried have never returned. And so, the legend of the Huichol's curse lives on, a tale so horrifying that even the bravest souls tremble at the mere mention of it.